And we are back again. Railcore day number 459. How is everyone doing? I am doing well. Thanks for asking. So we are back with Railcore. So let's just jump right in here. So today we have to put the bed in after we RTV'd it yesterday. We have to get all the wiring done. Then we have to get some firmware on it, probably do massive amounts of firmware adjustments. We have to decide what we're going to do about centerless homing. There are some in-stop parts that we can install as kind of a stop, so we'll check that out. We got a bunch of stuff still left to do. I don't think we'll print today. I don't know, unless things just go really awesome. But I think we'll be ready to print today. So let's see how it goes. Hello, everyone in the chat. 459 million. Yeah, it's somewhat. What this is video. What did I say? Video 629, 405. Who knows? Happy with the build quality. Yeah, I mean, the hardware's good. I'm not a really big fan of these panels, honestly. I understand what they were trying to do. The extrusion that they use is 1515. It's very inexpensive. It's the frame is very affordable to build, even rather than 2020. And then they use the panels to kind of hold it all together. The panels are a real pain. I don't know if the money savings is really worth it. I don't know. I haven't printed on it yet, but the kit is fine. I mean, the quality of it and everything seems to be okay. I think this is the long one, right? We'll find out shortly, I guess. I guess we could look at the other one too. But yeah, so far, so good. I want to start this with a recap. So yesterday, where we left off, yes, those are much shorter. Yesterday, where we left off, there weren't any holes to mount the SSR or the PSU on the right panel of the kit. That was a mistake. Before I could even, as soon as I got off the stream, Dave sent me a message over at PrintedSolid, and the guys at ProjectR3D sent me a message and said, "Hey, we heard there weren't any holes in that." And I said, "Well, you know, it's not a huge deal. I'm just going to cut some holes in it." But it was a problem with the file, the CNC file, DXF or whatever they use. It was a problem with that file. Dave fixed it all up, and he sent me a picture of the layout with all the measurements so that I could drill the holes by hand correctly in the right spots. So I did, and I got the PSU on and the relay. Everything was fixed. So that will be fixed going forward. So we're learning together. Before we start messing with the bed, though, I did go through. So I've got those two parts on. I went through and leveled the axes. So I stretched the belt. If you've been watching the other streams, I stretched the belt around the gears. I kind of took a quick look at it to kind of get somewhat level. I started looking at it a little further yesterday, and I really didn't like the distance in between some of the pulleys. It was just enough higher on the gantry that goes across on that pulley stack, and where the idler was, that I didn't feel comfortable about it. So I actually pulled all of those. I pulled the two off the X gantry, and I put a couple of more washers on the top to get it down just a little bit, and then so the belt would line up straight. So that was all fine and good. I got everything lined up. I put some oil on all of the rails. Everything's moving correctly, and then I tensioned the belts. Now, we might have to go through and tension the belts again because we are going to move the printer around quite a bit today. But I tensioned them just a little bit tighter than they probably should be. I actually did get out the tuner and try to do it to a certain sound. And they say 40 to 50 or 45 to 50 hertz or something like that. I'm setting just a little bit tighter than that on both belts, but they're almost identical. And the reason why I left them just a little bit tight is because it's a brand new install. I'm expecting it to stretch as we start moving around and things like that. We can go back and check all that later. But there are so many people in the chat. Thank you all for joining me through this whole thing. So I know Tom 3D Printed Lobman is here. Stig, Greg, AZ Cowboy 1 is back. Carl Schumann is back. Stephen White, Chris Galata, Travis Stamper is supposed to be on a meeting. Frostbite T3 is back. Talking about aluminum panels. Yeah, I heard those were really awesome, by the way. I don't know what those would cost. Carl Brown is here. Polymate 3D. So a whole bunch of people. So let's just take a look at what I've got so far. I think we're almost through the spot where we have to look at the floor cam anymore. That I will be kind of glad to get rid of that view, honestly, because it didn't really work out as well as I thought it would. But hey, it's something. And then after we're done with that, we'll take a look at the RTV on the bed and see how messed up it's going to be. So all I did was again, like I said, I adjusted the height of these guys. They were just a little bit too high for my liking. I just added, I restacked the shims, basically, is all I did, just to get them down a little lower. And then I aligned these top rails as good as I could, just to get them moving freely. I've got all these blocks tightened down. You can see it's actually, the camera probably lies to you, but you can see the linear rail here is parallel to the frame now. It looks good. And if you see any wonkiness on these, most of the time it's going to be the belt tension is different. Somebody's here delivering something. It's going to be the belt tension is different, pulling it one way or the other. So that means your belts aren't tensioned the same, which they pretty much have to be for this to work right. But on these, it's kind of interesting because to be able to tune these, like what we would say tune, they would have to be the same length. Well, on the Railcore, they are going to be in between the idlers. So that's where they tell you to measure them. So you can, I don't know if you can hear that, especially since the dog is barking. But they're bass guitar-esque. The bottom one is just a touch tighter. You can tell. But again, I stretched them a little bit too tight just because I'm pretty sure we'll have to go back through and do it again. So there's that. So we'll move on to the bed for now. And we'll come back to this in a second. Because we'll put the bed in and then we will start the madness of wiring. So, let's see. Sergio is here. I think that Captain Tape is just going to pull out every bit of that RTV. Unless it's not completely dry yet, which it should be. I wouldn't have expected this stuff to stick to that, but we might lose some of it. But that's not a big deal. Just as long as there's enough in there to stick it down. I'm actually more concerned. On a lot of the printers, you actually see that PEI covering screw holes and such. So it does do a fair job at spanning gaps. So I don't worry about it too much because it is somewhat rigid. But, you know, as little as possible would be much better. I can live with that through the install phase. So we'll go with that for now. Again, I'm not sure that we're actually going to be printing today, but maybe. Okay. Wham bam it. That is a fantastic idea. And I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking Dave had steel sheets for these, and I was thinking they were included. He had some sort of solution that came in these kits, but I guess not. But I am so spoiled by steel sheets that I will have one before too long for this one as well. Awesome. It's an add-on. Okay, well, we'll have to get one of those. So, let's set. I'm really kind of tired of picking this thing up, honestly. And hopefully, this will be the last process where we have to use this guy. We're just going to use it to stick the bed in here, and then we should be good. I guess it's just as easy to put that over the top. These call for like 20s or something. All right, let me find some hardware. We shouldn't have to be in this mode very long. Quarter-inch flat. Fender washer. Okay. Because those joints will have to move somewhat if it's going to actually tilt it. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of play in there. I'm hoping, Mitch, part 7 we will be printing. We will see. What else do we need? I really don't want to hit anything. There's that. I'm going to try to get out of the way so It's either I'm going to show you a whole lot of light, or I'm going to get in the way. Trying to get you a decent mix here. So the only thing I'm not 100% on that's lined up is the Z. We got it the best we could yesterday, but it's really hard to judge from the view that we were at. I should have looked at it a little bit further from above, and that might be actually what we have to do. I'm gonna have to lower this to make it a little easier. Doing these by hand is okay. Alrighty. Hopefully we have some more, at least a couple more nylock nuts somewhere. There's regular, there we go. We have a handful left. Well, I'm not sure 100%. I mean, I guess you can ground it under one of these mounting screws. Probably not the preferred ground location. Know what I mean? It still smells like RTV in here. Green wire. That's what they recommend. But all right. I need an assistant. Because I need like 5 hands to hold all this stuff. Alright, so you're going to have a really boring view of this. Okay. It's hard to get both arms in there to work on that fine stuff. People are, Jerry at 3D Printing and Painting here, what's up? People are fact checking me that I did do it right, thank you. I guess that was kind of my only option, but whatevs. You know what? That back one don't line up so good. Is it possible that that lead screw could be, I don't know how that lead screw could be that far off where that wouldn't line up. It's probably, I don't know, 5 millimeters off. It's really hard to see, so I can't tell how far off it is. Well, we're going to have to get a look at it one way or another to be able to fix this. I would say this one in front is pretty straight. I just saw calipers. Where did they go? There they are. I lost the battery cover screw. I didn't lose it. I need to put it back in. The box is square. We're talking like maybe 2/100ths of a difference on this one. Of course, I hit 0. Sorry, all you can see is my shoulder. That one's going to be really hard to measure. Yeah, they're straight. They're as straight as I could get them anyway. We're talking like hundredths off, top and bottom. Which direction is it off? So the bed is actually so the two bed holes. Here, let's discuss this for a second. So now which way is it off? The bed holes are actually wider than the Z bracket. So the Z brackets are right here. The back bed hole is just a little bit wider than that. Probably 5 millimeter. And now you can't see me at all. I'll take some more measurements here real quick. Yeah, I mean, it's too close to dead on to be that much off. I could use a level, but I don't think anything on this is level. Well, I will fix the anti-backlash nut. I do not read all the chat. There's too much to read and work at the same time. All of you have wonderful suggestions, and I appreciate them. But there's a lot of them. I'll fix the backlash nuts. So I guess what we will do while I'm fixing this, I'm going to tie the bed down for now, and I'll start wiring things so we can make a little progress today, and then I'll figure that out. I'm gonna have to get some accurate measurements though. I mean, and I can't do it while it's sitting on this table. I can't do it and show you at the same time. It could be, I mean, that those rails are just enough off that it won't line up. It doesn't look like it from here, but I've been surprised before. Well, today's not starting out so well. I got one fixed. I'm working on it. Nice chat to audio converter. Pay no attention to the man behind the Railcore. All right. Hopefully we're almost through this part here. printer build war against Linus Tech Tips. I'm not sure what that would entail. All right. Okay. Let's not worry about that for a moment. And we will continue on our merry way. There's more than enough stuff that we can do. And that's easier for you to see. If I can reach it. Maybe we should do this from the side. We have enough table to do this from the side. I was actually going to zip tie this cable yesterday, and I forgot, so that my camera cable wouldn't keep falling off the desk. Because I'm waiting for the moment where I unplug it inadvertently. So, you won't be able to see much, but at least you can tell that I'm working on wiring stuff. The ceiling cam will be way too close. Scratch build dollar limits. That would be interesting. Yeah, Glenn, I think that's what I'm going to have to do, but I'm going to have to check all that from the top, and it's just impossible to see. But I will, I'll figure it out. Let's move on to the wiring mess, shall we? Okay. So we have round ground terminals. That makes it a little easier to stack them. That's nice. What kind of controller? This is a Duet Wi-Fi 2 with the DuX breakout on it. I have a couple of these types of duet Wi-Fi setups, and they work just fine. This really isn't so far off of, you know, the tool changer setup and all of that. I always have to look these up, but yeah. Well, that's where it's at. I mean, the duet, the DWC is where all the attraction is, right? Riprap firmware, I mean, if you were using raw riprap firmware, it's really not going to bring that much to the table. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not going to do a whole lot of stuff different than any other firmware would do. But yeah, the DWC brings all the value to this, which is cool. DWC is really easy to use. You don't have to use octoprints. Easy to update firmware. Easy to make changes. We are not done yet. Dingleberry. Thank you for the sub anyway, and the funny name. And Frank, thank you for the sub. Isn't wiring thrilling? I'll put the SSRs on and all that good stuff. I always feel like I'm wiring a house. Let's put the Put this one on first. I know you can't see anything I'm doing, but I'm hooking up the SSR. So what's everybody doing today? I bet you're not building a Railcore on YouTube. Well, you know, you never know. There might be somebody doing that today. This one's nice. It's got a little snap cover on it. How pleasant. Darth Box. What's up, Tony Ryan? And for as of right now, it is still just a big black box. Tanner's working on a design. Working. Just ordered a new power supply, fixing a Raspberry Pi. With a smaller black box attached. Monster pooch, huh? Making pancakes. Now this still has the default thermistor on it. That would be kind of interesting if you ran both. Like, maybe not necessarily use it, but take it as a reference. I'm gonna have to look. I can't see all the... Oh, there's E1. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I can't see all the little numbers on the board. In fact, so if I remember correctly, I have a handful of wires that I dropped, actually. These daisy chain all together. This is the loom for the hot end. Taking lunch. Hey, Ken. Hopefully you're having a good lunch. Really, some do run both. They try to be very close. Interesting. I was gonna say, I think it wouldn't hurt anything. Just a thought. Where'd my screwdriver go? Working on getting me to a million subscribers, or getting yourself to a million subscribers? A million seems pretty hard to reach for me. Benchy XXL? Me? Well, I appreciate your efforts. Where's the short negative wire that we would require? This is a PSU ground. Like I say, I dropped a couple of them. That is not a wire for this kit. Oh, wait. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. These are the droids I'm looking for. Does it show me a picture? Because it doesn't tell me on the board. Yes, it does. And of course, that's a flat. Trying to get me out of the basement? Well, I don't know. Kind of like the basement. Fox Travels? What's up? Seeing the micro terminals on these boards, the tiny screw terminals, gives me anxiety just looking at them. It reminds me of the old, like, telephone or Ethernet terminals, like the switchboards. Trying to fit all that little bell wire, the solid core wire underneath them. No thanks. There's a lot of stuff on this to hook up. After we get through all the terminal stuff, though, it'll go a lot faster. Punch down work. Ugh. Yes. Still have a punch down tool somewhere. What's up, Mike? Here's our in-stop switch. Which one is that for? Oh, X. I guess X would be kind of short. Let's think just logistically here for a second. What else should we have? So, set this aside for a second, just because I know where this goes. They've already put strain relief inside there. That's cool of them. All the motor cables I'm not so concerned about. I know where those go. In-stop wire I'm going to set down there. If I go looking for it later, remember I threw it under the table. I have an extra ground that's probably best suited on the side of the PSU. There are oh wait, maybe I just found it. This is the one I dropped. Yes, this is the one I'm looking for. I was going to say there was no wire to support the other side of this SSR, but there is. I just dropped it. Still do a fair bit of punch down. I don't do any of that anymore. I used to do a lot of LC fiber connections, and they're not bad, you know, because they are the snap type. But after you do, you know, several hundred, they get kind of annoying. I actually had a little set of grippers at one time just for those that were pretty handy. Wait a second. What am I doing? Oh, it's because I hooked the wrong side up. Here's the not paying attention. Duh. We'll just say I was not thinking correctly. You know, the office that I work at, for years, I haven't been back to that room in a long time. Now I'm kind of curious. I wonder if those PBXs and all that all that old stuff is still sitting back there? And do we have like one emergency one that's still hooked up or something? I have to go, next time I'm ever allowed in the office again, I'll have to go take a look. And then things start to go south. Story of my life. Happy Thoughts is here. Thank you for being here, Happy Thoughts. We could all use more Happy Thoughts. Oh, I can't see it. Just guessing. Still building the wardrobe, yes. There's something about a lion and a witch. Don't remember. Narnia. Something like that. Charlie Bowen. Have a good day at work, my friend. Okay. So we got Duet, jumped over to DoX. Final answer. Lock it in. Looks like a kegerator. That would be pretty sweet. I wonder if I could like work that into this design. If I only wanted to print really short things in a really tall printer, I could probably make that happen. I guess I have multiple terminals. There's really no need to stack. Just a bit more work. Let's put this one up there. Tool changer kegerator. Now all the good ideas are coming out. We just need it to clean the glasses, keep them cold, pour it, change itself over. We could work on all that. I know the E3D guys would be up for some beer-driven tool changing. Yeah. So we're doing pretty good there. Just looking. So there is a frame ground for this. I guess the one on the bed would probably be more than enough. For the frame. Oh, so the green wire labeled X step mount is ran up the X step motor mount. Remove one of the following mounting screws on the stepper and place ring connector. Okay, so they have you stick one on the X motor. Is there actually one labeled that? I don't think so. Two pneumatic vents is here. What's up? It's going to be relatively difficult to do. Let's see what I can do here. "4:30 a.m. Tasmania, Australia." But Patrick, didn't you say, weren't you the one that said yesterday you were on the night shift? I really don't want to put that on there at the moment. Alright. I have to say the plastic panels on this thing, when you're tuning those belts, it does really resonate a nice tone. I need something for prying. Just a little prying. Hello, Jim Sellers. Okay. So we're fully safe and earthed, as they say.
Looking good.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much for the $5. It's probably closer to where they should be anyway. Alright. Well earthed. Let's check this AC one more time just because it's fairly important that we get it right. So, we have bed, line, and then bed load, back to neutral. And I believe that is correct. Heater goes to 1 and neutral, and then 2 we get line, 3 should be positive, and we're good. Alright, so next up we are moving to somewhat the easier stuff. I just need a good duet diagram. That'll work. Okay, so since the Railcore is flipped just a bit, we call front. That would be your B motor, which would go to your standard Y connector. And then the other side, your A motor, one in the back on this printer, goes to your X. And I think it's going to want you to put all the Z's yeah, they all go on the X. Five, 6, and 7. Are they all the same length? We're getting subs. Jamie Perez, thank you very much for the sub. Marion, thank you for the sub. What do I think about Voron? I don't know much about Voron, but I would like to build one. So I really couldn't, I really can't speak to it. A lot of people say they're awesome, but I would like to build one for sure. Front, left, goes to 5. Three, 4, 5. That should be 6, right? Yep. 6 is rear left. And 7, right side stepper. I keep putting the wires inside the printer and they match the inside and I can't find them. And we go to 7. Which one did they call 7? Right stepper sits on 4. Ryan, welcome to the stream. Now we have all of the hot end stuff. Where is... I always get confused about the fans and the thermistor pins. Thermistor. E1. No, bed thermistor's over there by the bed plug. I knew there was something weird about it. Like, so it wasn't in the same location, that's right. Gotcha. Okay. Now we can do the hot end stuff. These are labeled really well. I give that to them. They did a good job on these. Ah, be able to touch on duet. I forgot about that part. Dough. I think, though, it's easier when you have the X board. And my park fan. It never fails. I always get one of these wrong. At least one. What's oh, that's probably the end stop wire that I'm not using. Screwdriver. Techie Dad is here. What's up? E0. Now I'm looking at the diagram to see how they would like to hook up the BL Touch. There is a copy of firmware out there that's been configured for doing this setup. So I'm kind of trying to match their diagram. I haven't looked at their parameters. What do they have the fans set up as on this? Now I just saw that. End stops are set to 3.3. Okay, that's set over to the VIN pin. So that's probably alright. Your probe pins are down here. What's the... And on this one, I think that'll have to be changed up. Unless they flipped it on the other side for me. Now I'm going to have to look at a BL Touch. You type in BL Touch and it's all SKR configs. Those boards have gotten really popular. Alright. Oh. Hank found somebody else to bark at. Signal is the orange one. Z probe mod. I just did this the other day. How did I hook it up? Connect your BL Touch Z probe on the Duet and the PWM1 port on the DuX5. Maybe I'm just not seeing the PWM port. Sorry, I'm ignoring you, chat. Maybe I need a chat break before I look at this again. Yes, Selenium nozzle does fit in a V6. Break time. My own large 500 plus Core XY. No. Nothing that big. Yeah. Looking at wiring forever. I definitely don't want to hook that up wrong. This is a 3-1, so I'm not so concerned about the voltage. The BL Touch on the Duet is somewhat interesting. I probably ought to get in and look at their config. So 3.3 power mod controls signal for some types of Z probe, ground, input for Z probe. Ah. So in and ground. This is what it's talking about. First, you need to allocate unused heater expansion channel for the servo. For example, you can use which corresponds to PWN. If E2 heater output is unused, you can use heater 3. If you're using DuX, check you have a jumper on 5-volt auxiliary. That wouldn't matter for this one. We do. E2. Interesting. I am pretty much maxed out on basement space. I have gotten rid of a few things, but yeah, it just keeps filling up. I could put my ribbon cable on. This makes me miss SCSI drives. Weren't those like 50 pin or something? Tom, the 3D Print Viking is here. What's up, Tom? Where's the new fancy manual that they had? Nothing like watching a stream where somebody's surfing the internet. uh, this is the stuff that I try to do around the streams, but sometimes you just can't help it. Oh. Now, I know in one of these there was a link to that. I'm going to find the document that I'm looking for, and it won't have what I need in it. That's what I'm looking for. So I found that. Layer fan. Oh, it looks like it's already, this firmware is already pre-configured for that Kivo heater, John. Why not, let's just plug it in. It goes right there. Okay, so the actual probe wire, where you would normally put on an end stop, goes on the probe pins. White wire's on the left. And then they have that configured as PWM, which PWM they are calling, yeah, that guy right there. Cool. I just needed a better picture. That's all. Left to right, orange, red, brown. Well, as far as the board goes, that's it. That is it. Let's move things around on this table for the 100th time. I was looking for a diagram and I finally found it. I knew that when you so when you're hooking up BL Touch to Duet, there's a couple of pins inside that expander. Oh, you can't just stand it up. There's a couple of pins inside that expander where you can hook up your servo. But if you're using it, I couldn't remember where it defaulted to on the DuX board. I'm not as well versed in Duet as I am other things, so I needed to find that information, and that's what I was looking for. All right. Thank you. Yes, we're getting there. Today started out a little bit slow, but we're making it happen. It really sucks that I can't see it. In fact, how well will it lay on its face? I'm just waiting for one of those feet to snap when I turn it. So now I'm just hooking up the other side of the hot end stuff, the BL Touch, the fans, just doing a couple of plugs. And that will be it. Okay, thermistor. Hot end fan. I feel like I'm hot wiring a car. Of course, there had to be one plug that wouldn't line up. Super awesome. There we go. And this was for my part fan breakout cable. I need to look at a BL Touch real quick. Tabs go in. It must be a little cooler today. The air conditioner's actually kicking off once in a while. I haven't left the house since like Sunday, so why leave? I need a assistant tool here. What I'm working on right now is plugging in the BL Touch without being able to see it. Blindly doing it. Maybe this will work a little better. Still not quite sure that BL Touch is low enough for this Mosquito hot end either. I mean, it wouldn't be that big a deal to shim it up a bit, but I'm not exactly sure what this mount. The mount was probably designed for a V6, which they should be fairly close in length, but we will see. Okay, I think we're done with wiring. I have to say, I'm just a little bit nervous to power this one on. Just a little, considering our history together. It's gonna knock that off of there. Come on, man. Just barely fits with that extruder on. I got about 3 inches of clearance. I guess you don't want to see the back, do you? Okay. Ready, set, fire. Ready, fire, aim. Blue lights. I heard the BL Touch test itself. I don't see smoke coming out of anything. The hot end fan's working. I did not put the part fan back on. I will do that at a later time. Don't drop, don't drop. Didn't hear any pops or sizzles, so we're good there. So I think we're doing okay. So I need to load some firmware that might be roughly close to what this machine needs. Some of you folks were telling me about a right-angled USB for this, and I think that is a great idea. Do I have one of those? thought I might have had one of those. Maybe I used it on something. There's some device down here, though, that has that type of cable, and I think it's the pallets. It is huge. Config is on micro SD, but does the Railcore specific one do that? They don't write that on there, right? I mean, I wouldn't if I was a company. But I will have to. I'm going to reflash it anyway. I think the palette has an angled cord on it that I'm going to use for this, since I can't find my adapter. So let me find that. Where is my palette anyway? It's over there. Angled cord. Hey, here it is. Can't believe I found it that fast. Cool. All right. Let's see what we can mess up. PrintedSolid has some angled ones? Well. Do I have... Yeah. Lift with your legs. Sure. Cool, cool, cool. This still has all the commands from my previous. Don't anybody show up to my house and steal my wireless, alright? I really don't need a... Well, I guess we could throw a static address on there. Dustin Dixon, we don't have angled USB cords. Was Carl talking about has the printer? You should have angled USB cords, Dustin. $191. Let's keep this. Not found. Well, that will happen if you pull the SD card out of it. That's gonna happen. Dustin, and just so you know, Dustin Dixon, I'm guessing that's the Dustin from PrintedSolid, since we're talking that way. But when I talk to Dave and I've asked him too many questions, he always threatens me that that he's going to pawn me off on you if I ask too much more. He's kidding, of course. But every time I say, hey man, I hate to bother you, he's like, hey, if you were bothering me, I'd make you talk to Dustin. Which I think is pretty funny. But okay. Let's see what this has to say. uh, well, Dustin, we'll help each other out then, man. Uh, I am not going to go straight to RipRap 3, but I think I will do a video on that process to go from 2 to 3. So we'll just run with whatever we got right at the moment. So let's just see how we go here. All right. It's this stuff that takes forever. Yes, I believe we do need a video for 2 to 3. I don't really know if it's any better. I mean, that we're just staying current. I'm not sure. I haven't read the release notes or anything about it. So our config works. That's a slice engineering thermistor. I wonder if there's a. That's why it's reporting 0.6 or whatever. Yeah, I'm guessing this is probably still configured for a V6. Let's take a look and see what the settings look like. How about lead screws? Z is set to 1600. That's good. Here we go. They already put it. What a bunch of good people. Fans. We've got BL Touch in there. Won't say anything too crazy. There we go. Those high-end thermistors always read a little high at the low I've found, but that's way better than 0.3. We'll have to do some checking on that. So, let's see if I'm going to collide with anything. We look okay. Let's make some tiny movement, shall we? Oh, it's not going to let me do it till it's homed. Can't you set that in the config, though? Hmm. Free movement command. I like crashing stuff. Tony's first moves. Does he have good stuff in there? Oh, in the fancy guide? This is just the stuff we did, right? Yep. Do not skip steps. All right. Okay. It moved back and to the right. So that's good. So this one should move to the right and to the front. That's correct. I feel like I'm taking a pop quiz. $15 millimeters. We're gonna have to move these by hand because they are kind of far up there. Tom, stop your complaining about my tabs on my browser. That's how we do it. Us young people. That's just from today. I actually started with no window. I probably have tabs I haven't closed in 3 weeks on my personal computer. Okay. So we should be clear enough to not totally kill something. Keeping your tabs on the left. There you go. Tab hoarder, among other types of hoarders. You guys crack me up. It moves down. When you use single start screws, man, those motors fly. 1,600 steps. Okay, here's where everything's going to go out the window for us, because we're going to have to use centerless homing. And we really don't have anything to stop it. So what I am going to do is cheat. And I am going to use, it's pretty close to the tool changer setup as far as, I mean, it's the same board and same kinematics and all that good stuff. So I'm going to use this stall detection setting on my Railcore. Where do they like to put that? Okay. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of buffer to keep it from jumping off the end of the rail before I do this. Time is it? Only 2:30. What should we do? C-clamp? That's a pretty good idea. Just for testing purposes. That's really all I need. Because then I'm going to have to make a part. Just an altered end stop. C-clamp's good. I had some temporary Irwin clamps, so I walked off with them. Where did they go? I guess I could try a 3D printed clamp, but I don't know how well that's going to work. I mean, it doesn't have to be super strong, but if it moves, we might have an issue. I'm guessing it's going to home in the front left as well, right? You just use the end stop carriers. What to stop against? What does one of those look like? I thought there was one that was a little more, had a little more meat to it. Maybe not. Okay. We'll switch to this for a second. I'm gonna have to find that part. I thought, so I was thinking, the end stop holder, I was thinking I would just put it on there before, but then I thought it looked kind of flimsy, but maybe I'm thinking of the wrong part. I'm looking for the picture of the end stop holder. So it's just that little angled piece. I don't know if I have one of those. This is it. Now I have to move the printer again just to put this on. Perfect. I'm just gonna set it on the floor. It only looks to be one extra nut in there. Unless the other one is hiding. Needs a rolly cart. Start treating it like a welder. Oh, no wonder that looks funny. We spent too many hours working on this. I have a couple of other printer builds that I need to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it at this rate. Hopefully we don't instantly just crash right through this thing. I need one more. Eight millimeter. I think those are all 10s. I'll just throw that on the floor. I know I dropped one yesterday. At least one. And I've kicked pretty much everything else on the floor by moving the printer around. Sweet. Yeah, I think I saw a bed.g in there. John says yeah, so. Yeah. Thank you for that suggestion. I think that will work just fine. All right. We still have this bed issue, but I'll take care of that. Now that I'm seeing it from the top, I just have to figure out which way it would like to go. I'll fix that a little bit later, though. I just want to confirm that it's moving around and all that good stuff at this time. See how many more times I can lift this. I don't know what this thing weighs. Maybe 25, 30 pounds. Okay. .3D printer and home gym. I don't think there's any way that you guys can see that move around. It's just too tall. All right. While running these tests, a lot can go wrong. I always love to hear that. Ceiling cam is way too close. All right, hand on switch, home X. Okay, so senseless homing triggered. Which actually I really don't care about. Let's see what home Y does. So yes, they are triggering. No duct tape. No duct tape. I do need to get a taller basement. Now I have to remember the syntax on that. S stall detection. Oh, it's like a 2130. But one of these you go up and it gets... I think this one is you go up and it gets less sensitive. You go down and it's more. I think it's how that works. Let's try this. is there just a home.g, or do you they split all that out into? They don't appear to be. I did check it, Tristan. They don't appear to be setting any of that in there. Oh, wait a second. R. What is F? F is okay, and then H. Be considered reliable. Gotcha. I want to change this up just a bit. And no. Just trying to find a good stall setting. Let me switch the in-stop values real quick. We're gonna have to run a M574 over there. That actually did home bump. Ow! So I got a little carried away with the stall sensitivity. So what do we have? $15. What did we set it to? Okay, so where do we end up with? Okay. So this is 15. It crashes like crazy. It was probably that bolt that was just setting in there for the bed that I didn't attach. I just left the bolt setting in it. Steven, I use it with riprap and duet just fine. Well, I dropped the amperage. Current factor. All right. D2M. Super exciting stuff. I don't think it's taking my value changes. I'm looking through config files. I'm going to change up home G a bit. This is just going to be a whole lot of tinkering, as usual. All right. Well, at least we got it now where it's manageable. We need It doesn't seem to respond to any of the higher sensitivity settings. It would be nice to have a script to do that. Yeah. I'm not sure why. I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to mess with. But I wasn't fully intending on getting it working today. But we are built. We are wired. Oh, look at all the feed rate. And I changed up the home all to set it to 50% while homing. And then I lowered the current way down to like 700. But for some reason, it's not responding to the different sensitivity levels on those motors. But I'll get it figured out, and I will let you know. So we have a few things left to do. I have to get the Z-rod figured out. I'm guessing there's just enough. They're just enough out of alignment to cause me to miss that bed. I got to put my PEI sheet on. Figure out my sensorless homing. But then we're going to be pretty much ready to print. So that's cool. But we made a lot of progress. We're up, we're moving around. Everything looks okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. The front door too. Yes, I have a front door. I have the rest of the cover. The electronics cover. We could put all that together. We might do that while it's test printing. We'll see. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you all hanging out with me during all these streams. This has been stream number 6. There will be number 7, and I'm planning on doing it sometime tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one. We will hopefully print something tomorrow. James, hand-tight part cooling nozzle before you try benching. Yep. That's another thing I need to do. I need to heat tighten that nozzle because I just set it in there. Haven't done that. But thank you all. You're welcome, Lester, but thank you all. So will something hard to print, please? Oh no. Oh no. Later, Cliff. See everybody tomorrow. We will have another stream, and hopefully we will have a benchy off of this guy.